tables, ladders, chairs, changes, power bombs, garbage trucks? Come on with us.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
We are here at AFTERBUZZ TV to talk about WWE TLC 2017. I'm your host, Steve Kaufmann. You can find me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. That is K-A-U-F-M-A-N-N. But I've got the usual suspects with me. Starting to my immediate left.
And who's Chairs Sose?
Kaiser Sose is all of us.
That's what everybody wants to know.
Starting to my immediate left, she's Denice Salcedo.
Did you forget my name?
No, I was trying to think of a moniker and couldn't think of a moniker, and I just went, yeah,
That's
no monikers tonight now.
All right, anyways, I'm so happy to be hearing this song right now. I even kind of lost a little bit of focus here. I was like, oh yeah, this is what we're doing here. Anyways, but I'm Denice, and you guys can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at _Denice Salcedo.
And to her left, the man who plays the WWE mobile games, Mr. George Hermoza.
Game, WWE champions.
There was one before that. You were big on Immortals, weren't you?
No.
Oh, I guess that was me.
I tried the super card for a second, but I was like, no thanks. But WWE Champions is my game, so shout out at WWE Champions. They like really good. But yeah, I'm George Hermoza, GHERMOZA, Twitter, Instagram, all the above, Wrestling Encyclopedia. Although I haven't really been. I remember the whole hashtag Stump George movement. We need to bring that back.
Bring it back.
We need to bring it back. I'm full of facts. I'm full of knowledge. Let's spread it out. In fact, where's that Stump George video game? Not the video game, trivia game.
All right.
That we should start. Or
hit me up on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. We've got the Stump George happening. You can DM AFTERBUZZ TV. You can do all the things. You can like, you can rate, subscribe, all those things. TLC. Also, speaking of changes. Markia McCarty had some car trouble. She's not joining us. She was trying to be here to represent Raw. Everything seems to be all right, though. Everything's fine with Markia. How are we feeling about WWE TLC?
Weird, maybe? I feel like a lot of people were like, this is weird. I don't know what's happening. I was going through my Twitter feed, and that's kind of what I was seeing people say.
Even before the changes, this was one of those, I think more so now, this was one of those events, if anybody watches UFC, this is has like a big time main event, or main events in this case, where you don't really have to have much else. Mm-hmm. Where in the UFC you have your Conor McGregor's on the top, and the rest of the card is like, we're not gonna have someone else on the same card. We're gonna save it for a different card to sell pay-per-views. But I think this was one of those shows where it was okay. I think it was all about that one match turned into like two matches now. Yeah, but I don't know. I honestly, for better or worse, conversationally, I feel like they have an excuse now for this too. And once again, none of the matches by themselves were bad, or just the show kind of fell flat a little. And it was paced weird, and there were a lot of interviews after matches because they were clearly I like that
stretching
stuff, but
a bit of time.
And it's one of those where and this is probably the only one, and maybe somebody can stump me now. I think this is probably the only time where there's been a TLC pay-per-view and only one specific gimmick match. Before it was a TLC match, and then it was also a tables match, or a ladder match, or a chairs match, or a stairs match. In this case, I think this was the only pay-per-view for the first time for this specific pay-per-view where it was just that one TLC match, and that's it. Yeah. Because I know last year they had Alexa and Becky in a tables match, and then. Yeah.
I kind of like it this way, though.
I remember the last couple of years, they would go out of their way to have a tables match, a ladders match, a chairs match, and then a TLC
stairs match. But but you liked it that it's only one TLC match?
I do. I don't know why. It just makes it more special to me.
I'm okay with either. I think specifically, and we'll get into it, but the cruiserweight tag match could have been a chairs or a tables match. Bliss, Mickey James, that was great all on its own, but I think
that could add maybe a ladder match or something. But
possibly.
But it's just, and it's one of those where it's and going off of your point, I just a little bit of disagree, just because with it only being that one TLC match, now you can maybe drop the TLC moniker from the pay-per-view and just put that in some other pay-per-view and have that selling point as that, we now with the Hell in a Cell, we see that twice, or maybe some years 3 times. It's I don't know, I just feel like it just kind of I think you want at least a tables match, All
right. I think they were in a very strange place all around with stuff here. We have a lot to talk about, but I will say an 11-minute Sasha Banks Alicia Fox match was exactly what we needed, exactly what we wanted.
Who's we? I could have used like 5 minutes, you know?
We, the WWE universe.
Okay, we, the people.
I prefer
No?
everyone
Whatever.
here. I prefer everyone gets their, like, if you get a pre-show match, I think it's also a shame to be the pre-show match and then only get like 4 minutes.
That's
Like,
true.
I
That's
think if you're
actually
the pre-show,
very true.
you should
but
get a 10+ minute match to really tell a story, really work it out, really go with it.
this is going to fall back on me, but I'm not a really big Alicia Fox fan. That's why I only said I don't really care for 11 minutes. I mean, I thought it was a good match for what it was. I mean, it just, I don't know. She just oversells everything.
And do we have real quick, do we have a graphic for the Sasha Banks Alicia Fox match? Whenever that. Okay. No worries. Just to move along with the actual match, I'm going to pull up the...
I mean, it was good for what it was.
I thought that it was kind of more like the crowd was kind of like, been there, done that, seen it all, you know? There was nothing really... I feel like this wasn't really like anything special.
I kind of saw it like a few months ago.
The crowd wasn't into it.
We kind of saw it a few months ago when they had that like Sasha and Rich Swann against Alicia and Noam Dar. It was kind of like a recycling. Obviously, the big speculation is it was supposed to be Nia in that role. But again, I don't want to. There's too much to talk about that stuff that we don't have all the time in the world. But I don't know. Even that match would have been like, dude, we saw this like a year ago. You know.
I guess for a pre-show, it is what it is.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I'm surprised that it wasn't a cruiserweight tag
time.
match. But
Also, to be very, very fair, this is fresher than Sasha Banks Nia Jax for the umpteenth time. Okay,
yeah, because like I said, we just saw it on a couple months ago, like with the whole Sasha Alicia like little tag match that they were doing, and she was on 205 Live. I mean, it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and I'll leave it at that.
Fair enough. This was one of the 5 matches. Yes, folks, 5 matches people got to predict on for the AfterBuzz TV Predictions Championship. By the way, that form comes out around late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, Pacific time, meaning I put out a form with a lot of questions pertaining to a Finn Balor match, to a Roman Reigns match, and the only fair thing to do as of midday Friday was to cut those 2 matches from the form altogether. This was one of the 5 matches. Alicia Fox was only 20.2%. Sasha Banks was 79.8%. No shock to anyone. Let's jump on in to the opening contest, which was Asuka and Emma. One of the questions on that form was, how long will this match go? A lot of people thought that this match was gonna go 3 to 5 minutes. This match went longer than 5 minutes. It went 9 minutes, 25 seconds, actually. It almost broke 10 minutes. People are already criticizing it for Asuka not just squashing Emma.
Well, it's kind of better. I feel like the good thing about this match is that obviously, you know, everybody was excited for Asuka. Obviously, she got the big pop that everyone was expecting her to get. You know, we know that Asuka isn't going to lose since she's making her big debut. So you don't also want to bury Emma.
Yeah.
And I think that Emma actually, after this match, she's shining brighter, you know? So it was my second favorite women's match of the night. It was a good match, but compared to what we saw later on in the show, this kind of backshadowed a little bit for me. But I'm glad that both women came out looking good in this match. I wouldn't want to see Emma just like get squashed, you know?
I agree. I don't want them to squash Emma, per se. Like, I think there's... Maybe not Alexa Bliss with the title, but let's say Alexa Bliss didn't have the title right now. I could see Asuka just catching Alexa Bliss, and that would make both of them look like $1 million. Like, there were other ways to go about this, but Asuka made Emma look great. Asuka always looks great. And the commentary did a great job of putting over the fact that Asuka is, like, the Brock Lesnar of the women's division. Like, that's... I don't know how far they're gonna... I don't know if they'll ever go so far as to say Asuka's the Brock Lesnar of the women's division, but her domination is, like, on a Moolah level.
Does that mean that Brock Lesnar is the Asuka of the men's division?
Actually, well, I mean, you can argue Brock Lesnar is the fabulous Moolah of the men's division, because that would be the... Or the Bruno Sammartino, or, like, we're talking, like... When you're talking, like, the kind of reign that Asuka's had in NXT, like, you're talking a different kind of... Dare I say era to put it there, but I'm happy Asuka's on the main card. I'm happy Emma's getting long matches, getting to tell stories, getting to stay out on Twitter, and like actually further her cause. There are some haters.
I'm liking this Emma. I feel like when Emma first came in, I didn't jump on her bandwagon. I was like, oh, Emma, you know, Emma. No, but I'm actually liking Emma more now. And I gotta also give her props. I love the kicks that she was giving to Asuka in the back. I was just like, yes, Emma. Like, I kind of became an Emma fan tonight. Not gonna lie.
Yep.
I loved Ella Molina. But I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of curious if everybody that liked this match, take everybody that likes this match, right? I suppose everybody that like it. The people that like this match, I really want to know if those are the same exact people that like the Shinsuke Nakamura Dolph Ziggler match from Backlash. Was it Backlash? Yeah, Backlash. Because essentially that's the same exact thing that happened. Everybody was saying like, oh, Shinsuke should have squashed him. It was the first match on the card, actually. You know, oh, Ziggler put too much of a competitiveness or whatever. Like, you know, Emma said the same thing. So I'm kind of curious if the same people that like this match like that match. Because if it's not, then that's what's wrong with a lot of people. Because it was really booked the same way. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. That's exactly what I would do. It's like I like the competitives. I don't like them to. I don't want them to just bury Ziggler or Emma. And I like the fact that she put up a fight.
No, I actually have been kind of Switzerland on this, but I will come out and agree that if you're gonna marquee a match with Asuka and Emma, then you should make Emma look good. If you're not gonna marquee the match, you should have Asuka come out and beat down whoever comes out after Asuka.
And especially because, like, especially now that you really think about it, and really think about it, is Emma beat 4 other women. So by Asuka pretty much squashing Emma, you're pretty much saying like
she's better than 5 women.
Yeah, you know, it's like, so it's the fact that like Emma beat 4 other women, and now she put a competitive fight against Asuka. Like now I want to see Asuka go up against, you know, other people that will, you know, are going to put up a competitive fight as Emma did in that 5-way and today's match.
Although to be very fair, if Emma were as over as Alexa Bliss as a swarmy heel, it could have been one match to determine #1 contender, and the person who gets pinned in that match faces Asuka. And it would have, like, you would kind of write it down.
That's so confusing. No, it's good for us.
No, but I'm saying
we get it.
But I'm saying you make the joke on TV that whoever loses gets squashed by Asuka. I just find that funny. I think that's I think that's real funny. The percents on Emma and Asuka are exactly what you think they are.
Wait, what?
2.2% Emma, 97.8% Asuka. I didn't fact check my graphics. Though the numbers I said were correct, the numbers that are on the screen are incorrect. That's on me.
Oh no, when else I was like, wait, what? What is that?
The exact opposite is what those numbers are. We can move on now to... Too many tabs open. There we go. We can move on now to Cedric Alexander and Rich Swann up against Jack Gallagher and the Brian Kendrick. This match went 8 minutes. It's a good time. All these guys got their stuff in. It was the cruiserweight match you were expecting. I guess they're teaming up Cedric Alexander and Rich Swann to tease an eventual breakup. I don't watch 205 Live, so I was unaware Jack Gallagher became a heel.
I think that this match kind of made you want to see them more in the tag team division versus in the cruiserweight division.
Can we please?
And the crowd was so behind Swann and Alexander. I thought this was a good match, you know?
I would love to see Gallows and Anderson. Well, I would love to see Gallows and Anderson do the promo leading into an Alexander Rich Swann match, but I would also like to see the match too. I hope they're building 205 Live guys toward a tag team division, so that would give them more stuff on the card to actually work towards. I don't know.
I mean, I thought this. I mean, I'm unfortunately not caught up on 205 Live as much as I should be.
I don't think a lot of people are caught up on 205 Live.
I
hate to say it out loud, man.
2 hours to say what I would do with 205 Live.
You can't. You can't watch all the wrestling. WWE by themselves puts out 7 hours of content a week. Like, that's a lot. If you include 205 Live and NXT, that's 7 hours of content.
I would if it didn't work. But I thought that, like, it's just, I don't know, just. There's just so much with 205 Live that I just would want to see that they're not doing. But yeah, I mean, again, I like the fact that they had this time, because yes, it's all in network, but like there is a kind of sense of like, oh cool, that they got a pay-per-view match and they weren't on the kickoff show today, you know?
They got a pay-per-view match, they weren't on the kickoff show, and it wasn't the title match. Because the title match,
you would think that sometimes the cruiserweight title match is the only cruiserweight match on the show, but
and that would be on the pre-show half the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So, like, historically, they're doing a good job of showing the cruiserweights very well on Raw and Raw branded stuff. It's...
I don't can argue that. The fact that I forgot that this was an actual match, kind of, you know. But...
I would also argue Enzo. The Enzo of it all is pretty helpful.
Yeah.
I think Enzo is a lightning rod to that division. People are paying more attention to what Enzo's doing on that division. Like, no one can actually argue that. The percents on this were kind of a coin flip. Like, this was actually the really hard match to predict. It was 52-8 Cedric Alexander and Rich Swann, 47-2 Brian Kendrick, Jack Gallagher. You just had to hold your nose and pick one on this. I think that's fascinating that no one could really tell which way it would actually go. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah,
and as many have said, that's good booking. That's good booking that you're like, I don't actually know, and it's the unpredictability plus caring about what happens, I think, is the two pillars to a great match. They had a good match, so we're going to move on to Elias Sampson playing the guitar on the stage. Jason Jordan throws celery at him. That was what happened. Moving on.
No.
Okay.
Oh, well, we can talk about it maybe during his match, but
we have
go
two.
on.
Well, no, there's 3 Elias slides. It's
If
a whole
anything,
thing.
we can just group it all together.
There's a lot of Elias today.
So much
I'm not
Elias.
complaining, but
there's so much of this happening happening on this card where it's like, let's throw Elias out there for 3 segments. Let's get the Jason Jordan stuff happening. Like, we have a bit of time to fill because there's a lot less. Like, I'm happy I don't work at WWE this weekend because it would be all over the place. We've got Alexa Bliss and Mickie James for the Raw Women's Championship. This match was straight fire.
Yeah, honestly, this was my favorite women's match of the night, and maybe even my 3rd favorite match of the entire card. Honestly, man, basically, a lot of people were, upset that, during this buildup of this feud that everyone's like, oh, why are you guys bringing up Mickie James? Mickie James is old and saying that she's old and stuff like that. A lot of people don't like that. They could have brought her in and they could have just built her up as a credible, opponent to Alexa Bliss versus making it about her age and stuff. But after this match, like, people who maybe have not known Mickie James, the younger audience or so, man, she is just so good, and honestly, this was probably one of Alexa Bliss's best match in a really long time, and I just thought this was so amazing, and I want to see them continue going at it. I wouldn't mind seeing this again, whatever. I just want to see this again, though.
I want to see every match Alexa Bliss is in, just because her face can pretty much sell it for me. Like, and Mickie James also very expressive. The two of them could literally have had a promo where they were just face to face and just reacting to each other. And those reactions were just so good. So for them to actually have a match, and such a good match, was everything we needed here.
Well, my favorite part was when they were slapping each other. I was just like, that is what every woman, when they really have a feud, this is the component of, I really hate you, I'm just gonna slap you, and you know what, I'm gonna slap you back. And I love that they did this because it kind of gives it that edge where it says, I don't care anymore, I'm just gonna slap you. And they went back and forth, and then Mickie with a big kick to her to Alexa's head.
Yeah,
it
was insane. I loved it. I thought these women did great.
Yeah, this match was it really was one of maybe Alexa Bliss is one of maybe top 3, top 2, maybe one of her best matches since she's been on the main roster. Yeah, Mickie, obviously we know how good Mickie is. She's been around for over 15 years. But yeah, hopefully Alexa Bliss got a lot out of this match, because obviously this was about putting the younger person over and making sure, because she's going to be around for Alexa maybe for who knows how long,
Oh yeah, and the promo after really solidified that too, which was Alexa Bliss, who we all know to not be the most selfless or humble person, beats Mickie James, who immediately grabs the microphone in a post interview and very politely puts Alexa Bliss over. Like, you beat me, but it took your all to beat me, and I hope you I loved everything about this ending too, that it told the right story, that Mickie James is the elder stateswoman and can still go with Alexa Bliss. I think it's also, there's a lot of that story being told on this night with on a night with Kane and Kurt Angle returning, that you're very much just. Also, I think it is a little rough. We talk about Mickie James's age, which correct me if I'm wrong, is 38.
Probably.
kind of like, you know, like kind of old for an athlete, but not necessarily old for a wrestler. And then
It's a double standard because she's a woman. When,
Yeah,
like
that's
you
what
look
I'm-
at someone like AJ Styles who's 38.
Yeah,
Cena's
like-
40, you know?
Cena's 40, Kane is old, like Kane was
Yeah.
canvassing to become governor of Tennessee like yesterday.
And even so, and Mickey looks amazing. Not like it's not like she looks like, oh my gosh, she looks like so old. She looks amazing.
I'm sorry, but I'm 25. I don't look like that, and I cannot move like that. So Mickey James is like my inspiration for hopefully future
But
days.
I think a lot of things too, where like, yeah, you may mention like from a storyline standpoint, oh, Mickey's old or quote unquote old, you know. But maybe you don't know how many people are maybe at home watching like, wait, I'm like just as young as Mickey, and I can still accomplish a lot of things the same way Mickey is accomplishing a lot of things, you know. So I'm sure maybe the underlying aspect of like, no, age has nothing to do with how successful you can be.
I buy that. I'm all about that. Kurt Angle is 48. Mickey James is 38. Kane is 50. Quick. I can't ask questions and then not answer them. These percents were, as you would expect, 29.2 Mickey James, 70.8 Alexa Bliss. Yep. That was about as you could expect with predictions-wise. Next up, we had more Elias and his guitar.
This is the match.
And more. No, there were two separate
Well,
segments.
might as well talk about everything though. We can talk about the match as well. But
Well, we're going to go in order. I'm just bringing it up that it happened.
Okay.
2 whole segments of Jason Jordan throwing vegetables, Elias Sampson playing guitar, and then we got to see the match. Then we got to see the Cruiserweight Championship match. That's Enzo Amore and Kalisto. Kalisto was the champion heading in. Enzo Amore recently lost the championship in what many are reporting was based almost probably on a Neville walkout of Raw. So to us who watched this match, we know that going in, that it's Neville left Raw. Neville left Raw. Cruiserweights are kind of leaving Raw. We're curious what's up. What do we think of this match? I got in the weeds there with my words.
Honestly, first of all, I thought it was weird that Enzo took back the title. For me, I don't like when the title goes back and forth personally. But honestly, this just dragged. My heart wasn't into it. I wasn't into this at all. And I kind of feel like, you know, the crowd probably wasn't as into it either. Mm-hmm. You know?
yeah, I mean it was okay. I thought their match from Raw was actually really, really, really good. I was expecting this match to kind of be on that same level, but I mean it was okay. It wasn't as good as their Raw match, but it was okay. I mean the finish doesn't surprise me. It's pretty much the same finish that we saw last month at No Mercy, where he kind of did was it the eye poke?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just classic heel.
Yeah.
Classic heel Enzo. I don't know. I think they seeing this match and seeing that the plan was to necessarily have Enzo being champ tomorrow leads me more likely to believe, and I'm talking about the Neville stuff because it's more interesting than what's been presented. I will say this finish leaves a lot of credence to the fact that Neville probably walked out of Raw, and the plan was not for Kalisto to win that night to begin with. And the plan was probably for Kalisto to beat down on Enzo that night, setting up this match that they could have then advertised for weeks and actually tried to draw a number on the idea that Kalisto is going to face Enzo Amore. Never happened. Kalisto just joined the Cruiserweight champion, like the Cruiserweight roster. None of that happened. Enzo's over. Enzo's the champ again. Great, I guess.
I think this is one of the clear storylines on the entire card that you're just like, you can tell that they don't know what's going to happen here, what's going to happen next, kind of just see what works and stuff like that. So I feel like each week or in the coming months are just going to be like a surprise or whatever, or a repetition of things.
I mean, if it's a lot of like Enzo on the mic, pretty much like, I don't want to say talking down to, but just kind of like talking smack to the other cruiserweights, I'm all for it. Because I love that one segment where Enzo was in the ring and he's kind of
like roasted everyone.
Dude, I thought that segment was amazing. Like that's why, if that's the Enzo that we're gonna see, then he is the rightful Cruiserweight champion, because that guy is just so insane on the mic.
He's clearly the guy in the Cruiserweight division, and I'm sure.
And if this means more of that, then I think they made the right decision in putting the belt back on him.
Mm-hmm. And he has the heels of 205 Live on his side now, so like there's I mean, we have to be building into a Survivor Series faction 205 Live, maybe even a 5-on-5 Cruiserweight Survivor Series match with Enzo on one side, and maybe if somebody pins Enzo, they become Cruiserweight champion. Is George, you would know, is that unprecedented for a Survivor Series match? I know that's not unprecedented for a multi-man tag match.
What do you mean?
For a title to be on the line in a traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series match, that's never happened.
No.
Book it. It's never happened. Or would traditionalists get upset? I don't know.
I would just say if he gets pinned, then that's your next feud.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
I would say if we're already in the habit of hot shotting.
Because again, going back to earlier, it's like we might think that like, oh my god, that sounds pretty cool, but like they wouldn't do it because it's just too confusing.
Perhaps.
Like, wait, so the title's gonna be on the line now on a 5-on-5 elimination match? Like, I feel like they have too much to explain.
That's fair.
Yeah.
They would you know
what
try.
I mean?
I'm sure someone's trying to explain it to someone else right now. Like, no, but it'll work. It'll make complete sense. People don't like Enzo. He's a heel. Speaking of trying to predict how this match would go, 56.2 thought correctly it would be Enzo Amore. That's a small majority. 6.7 thought it wouldn't have a finish at all. 37.1 thought it would be Kalisto. I'm going to go a little out of order for the AfterBuzz TV Predictions Championship. A, because he's in our chat right now, and B, that was the 5th match because of all the kerfuffle that happened Friday. So your winner, who got 12 out of 12 points, AJ0314, you are the AfterBuzz TV Predictions Champion. Congratulations. Perfect 12 out of 12. You are in the chat. Great. We have got us the Orange Demon Finn Balor against AJ Styles. Wait a minute. We were promised an Orange Demon. I'm kidding. This match was good enough that no one's saying that, but I did create a graphic where he's not the Orange Demon anymore. So we'll go ahead and look at that one. Love this match.
I'm just going to start off by saying that I am happier to be seeing Finn against AJ than what we were going to be seeing Demon versus Sister Abigail.
Oh my God,
that
yes.
was just, oh.
This was...
You had to be curious just a little bit. Just a little bit, but like,
I mean,
what is Bray gonna come out as? What is he gonna do? Is he gonna have like the veil on the whole time?
So bad.
That's not
so
a wrestling
bad.
match, though. That's theatrics. Halloween.
Welcome to WWE, though.
There's some good stuff in all. If you look at all the Halloween Havocs, there was some good, entertaining stuff. There were a handful of good matches, and I think Finn Balor, Orange Demon Finn Balor, and then Sister Abigail Bray Wyatt. So probably Bray Wyatt in a dress. Unless they wanted to just...
probably, we don't know. I'm curious. I just wanted to see like the actual visual of it.
I'm excited.
So were you happy when you saw the actual visual of it?
Well, I didn't see the visual
he's talking about
Sister Abigail.
I'm saying when you saw basically Bray dressed as like a drag.
I mean, I want to say happy or sad. I'm just like, okay.
It was terrible.
But
Okay,
it was interesting. But
it was just more like, I wonder how he's gonna wrestle. That was more thing. Because he looked like he had face paint under that, or I don't know. I was just curious. Like, is he gonna shave the beard, or who knows? You know.
We could always just call up Nikki.
Well, I'm happy that you were still curious after seeing that, because after I saw that, I was like, oh God, this is terrible. And look at Finn having to sell this. Oh, this is horrible. Poor Finn. That was what was going through my mind.
But also too, and if that's the case, you got to be fair, because on that segment on Raw where they had the impression that Finn was changing back and forth between Demon, that was kind of silly as well. Then.
No, it was
because they were implying that he's doing it in the real time. That's why they got such a good close-up.
Once again, a Finn Balor Bray Wyatt match would have been great for theatrics. Would have been the same match we've seen a bunch of times.
I don't know. I think Bray was gonna win.
But focusing on this match, though, this was awesome.
This was awesome.
You know that these two guys, everything that they did in the ring was so crisp, and even though they hadn't met each other there before, it was like they kind of knew each other, though, and it was just so good, and it was just so fluid and nice to watch, where it wasn't, we see so many, what do you call them, kerfuffles in the ring, and this just wasn't it. Everything about this was nice, it was perfect, it was fun to watch, and I genuinely enjoyed myself, and I thought it was great.
18 minutes, 20 seconds, second longest match of the night. That's where this is exactly where it should be on the card. It's exactly how long it should get. These guys got to tell a really good story. AJ Styles was in Chile Friday.
Yeah, he had a long flight.
He made it to Indianapolis in time for this match.
How many hours is that? Do you know?
A lot. I think
Chile is like a 9-hour flight from here.
But then
I
to
know,
go
he's
to
been
Indianapolis, I'm sure he
What,
would
like add 3 or 5 hours? I don't know.
probably. I think they would have. I think it was something like a 10-hour flight to get him.
I'm sure, yeah.
In like the general vicinity of Indianapolis, and then like from there it's just kind of a jump. But I'm sure what was most important was try to get him to the United States as close to yesterday as possible, so he could have as much time to get over the flight to be ready for this match. These guys delivered. This was great. I never thought I would have a Finn Balor AJ Styles match where I'm just like, it was great. I don't actually have anything to talk about. Like, it was great. It happened.
I liked when AJ had the calf crusher on him and Finn just grabbed him by the head and was like,
yes.
It was just that one little moment for me that did it. I was like, yes.
And the missed 450 splash too.
Yep, that was nice.
Perfect. Like all the spots, all the stuff, and then we get the 2 Sweet at the end, which I guess now we see why WWE sent a certain tag team a cease and desist, because they want to use it on television.
Doubt it. I think it was more so because I think don't they have a Hey Yo shirt or like
that's
a
that's what they're legally ceasing.
Because like they can't
desisting.
when they did this season, they had no idea this match was gonna happen.
I know. But we'd be lying if we didn't think they had. Clearly now they didn't have an inkling that they were going to do that at some point on television in the next like 12 months.
I think the Young Bucks getting the cease and desist is like a whole other topic that could spring off
probably
into
the best
a lot
thing that
of
can happen to
things.
them is to get that cease and desist.
I
Because they
agree.
probably make a hell of a lot more money on that T-shirt.
Yeah, I was
They
gonna
get
say,
to-
and
I even saw somebody on TV on the hard camera side with that T-shirt.
off topic, man, they're being really smart about this with starting the whole us versus them thing. Can I just say that's pretty fun?
I agree. I
Off topic.
love everything about these two. Love everything about this match.
Talking about Young Bucks or AJ and Finn?
Okay, I went off topic.
Okay.
Sorry.
But no,
No, because then he
Young Bucks.
said, I love these two. I'm like, you're talking about the Bucks? Because they're all awesome.
I love those 4.
But I'm sure
we're
there's
talking
a lot
about
of people.
these two.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that were probably thinking like, and I think it would have been a little cool, but they just can't go anywhere to it. As like after the 2 Sweet, if Gallows and Anderson would have came in and maybe attacked them both, you know. But you can't go anywhere after that, you know. But
you can't. Well, you can go somewhere if AJ Styles shows up on Raw tomorrow.
But he's not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
AJ Styles Team Blue. So like this was pretty much the extent of what you'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you see them on the other side of a SmackDown vs. Raw Survivor Series
And
match.
can I just say it's really weird? This is really, really weird. Is that like they're promoting Survivor Series, right? Like on the kickoff show, whatever. Like 999, and then I work Survivor Series we're the only place where you can see a Raw versus SmackDown match, and I'm like, you know, AJ and Finn's happening, right?
You're where we're literally seeing a Raw versus SmackDown match.
I'm sure Peter Rosenberg is going to get a lot of flack for this, but he kept saying the 30th annual Survivor Series, the 31st.
That's not Peter
It's the
Rosenberg's
31st.
fault.
I know they kept pushing it.
WWE does this.
It also wasn't the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania.
Speaking as someone who went to WrestleMania 25 and refused to buy merch because it said the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, and I'm like, no, I can count. This is the 24th anniversary of WrestleMania 1 numbers. God.
All right, well, with Finn and AJ, let's just count our lucky stars that we got this match on his
Oh,
pay-per-view.
absolutely.
Because if this match had not happened, we really would have only had, like one really, OMG match, and then Mickey and Alexa. Really? So
No.
let's just be thankful that this happened, honestly.
Oh,
I'm
and-
super thankful.
And also, then Kevin Owens, with a completely separate issue, has to leave the South American tour as well. Triple H has to go down to the South American tour. A lot's going on with the roster this week, but we got to see this match because of it.
Yep.
I'm excited. We got to see this match.
I know a lot of people are complaining about it, like, oh, it needs a better build up. Who cares? We got it, you know? Like just because they had this match one time doesn't mean they can have a future match with a actual 2-3 month build up.
Also,
There's nothing that says we can't do that.
And not to mention, the build-up should be very... If we're talking about a huge build-up, the build-up should be very subtle. And not to mention, they went 18 minutes, 20 seconds. They could have gone to a 30-minute time limit draw. I'm aware I'm the kind of... That's my indie ROH-style booking in my mind. But that would have been a way to really... Granted, not pay it off. But if you gave them a 30-minute match of pure fire, and then it's a time limit draw... And then they square off against each other in a Survivor Series match, but never have a one-on-one match. They square off against each other at the Royal Rumble, but never have a one-on-one match. You can build to a Mania program with a Balor AJ Styles.
If they're on the same program, yeah.
But I think the future is AJ Styles Nakamura if we're talking Mania. then maybe they're saving those gimmicks. Like
This
maybe
is me praying to the gods. By
maybe
the way.
they save maybe they're saving those gimmicks for that match. At which point, then yes, we should have a finish to Balor AJ Styles. Next up, added to the card, Jason Jordan versus Elias. This is the third segment featuring both of them. The first match, they had a match. This was a Raw match. There's no build. It happened.
I more so have a question because I'm a big Elias fan. I think he's so like his Prince reference being it. What?
I'm booing you. Sorry.
Really? What's wrong with Elias?
No, we've got into this argument in the past.
And we're gonna do it again.
You go. I'm just gonna boo you on the side.
But I want to know why you boo.
Cause I don't like him.
But why don't you like him?
Cause I'm bored when he comes out.
Is it like you don't like him because he's a bad guy, or like
No,
just like
I just
that's
don't
your?
like him because I get bored when he comes out and I'm not interested in him. But I want to hear what you were gonna say.
No,
though.
I was gonna say like it's so funny, and again maybe this is the part where we might disagree. I think Elias is very very over. Like he gets a reaction every single time. Like they like, and maybe a lot of people have the same sentiments as you, as they're like, dude, boo. Like, but that's what they want. That's what they want. He reacts to the audience, you know. But my point was going to be, out of every single NXT act, like I would have never thought that this guy would have been more over, you know, translated better to the roster, especially for somebody who didn't really do much on NXT. He didn't really do much on NXT. He didn't really have a serious program. He was that one guy that would be on the show after Takeover when they would, you know, do the Brooklyn show or the England show. He'd be in that guy, you know. But I don't know. I just swear, like, he didn't do much on NXT, but he's doing a lot more here than, you know, as opposed to like somebody like Nakamura, who people argue like, oh my God, he was so great at NXT. Main roster, not so much. There's not that many people on there. That's pretty much the other way around. More so people complaining about not being used properly as opposed to NXT. Elias is like the complete opposite. Maybe not being used right in NXT, but I think he's being used perfectly on WWE.
I think he's being used perfectly on WWE. I honestly think he was so mainstream, main roster on NXT, and that's part of why he never worked down in NXT. Like, I do understand they're completely different beasts. I also think there's something to be said about the tough enough effect from NXT. Like, the bigger deal you are in NXT, the harder it is to be a big deal on the main roster. And I think someone like Alexa Bliss, who just kind of, or Carmella,
even them two would be the perfect example too.
Who just kind of came over, like they weren't,
like they never even had a singles match on a single takeover.
Like they never came in with the kind of prestige someone like Paige did, or
even
Charlotte,
like American Alpha. And look at them now, you know.
Yeah, like I actually think you're onto a theory here that the tough enough effect goes all the way to the NXT effect. But I love Elias. I mean, in the ring, he's exactly what you expect. This match happened. There was no build. We've seen it before. They really want to do stuff with Jason Jordan.
You know what it is? I think it's like with a lot of these guys who didn't really do much in NXT, and maybe some females, was like they introduced him properly. Where like, you know, Elias, like he came in kind of in the background, you know? It's like you had no expectation for him. As opposed to like Nakamura, oh my God, this guy's so great. Finn Balor, this guy's so great. It's like, I mean, they're great, but it's like everybody just keeps saying that, oh, they were much better in NXT. Like, well, maybe this because...
you can't blame them for that.
They're much better.
No, I'm not blaming the talent themselves. It's just like...
They're so much better live.
It's just the fact that like they didn't get the proper introduction that some of these other guys are getting.
Their old stuff is just way better. The NXT effect is also a grander scale of like the mainstream effect too. That like those people who tell you they liked Fall Out Boy until Fall Out Boy had under the court.
I love Fall Out Boy right now. I think they're getting better and better.
That's a completely different podcast.
Then why'd you bring it up?
Just as an example of like they had like 5 indie albums before Under the Cork Tree that most people talk about as like, oh my God, that's the true Fall Out Boy, and everything they've done since.
Uma Thurman is my jam.
Isn't that like the case for every artist though? It's like,
yes.
Oh, they were the best when they were, now they suck.
Not Fall Out Boy. What's the next match?
Okay.
The next match is the main event of the evening. We have got the new and improved Shield. Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Kurt Angle against 5 other guys. The Miz, Sheamus, Cesaro, Braun Strowman, Kane. Not to be confused with Glenn Jacobs, who is running for governor in Tennessee. Literally, there was a picture of him canvassing in Tennessee yesterday. And he's the Demon Kane.
Not to be confused with the Demon King.
Not to be confused with the Demon King
But now
either.
we can probably see that match now. Apparently Kane's on Raw now. I thought he was on SmackDown after the draft. We get to Demon King versus Demon Kane. Book it. You're welcome.
AJO314, the King. Speaking of kings, well, he's the champ. Fall Out Boy still makes music. That's his question to you. Love this match.
Uma Thurman.
35 minutes, 25 seconds. We got everything we thought.
What did you like about this match? I'm curious.
Well, first off, it's as promised. It's a 3-on-5 TLC match. You're gonna get tables, ladders, chairs, spots, suplexes.
Where would you rank it? There's been 20 TLC matches. Where would you rank it? Or do you need more time? Because I'm all about a legacy. I'm all about, like, you won't know how good something is until you think back and, like, because for example, I think after every Mania, I'm like, dude, this is the best Mania ever. But then like a year later, I'm like, was it really that good? It was really better than 17 or 19 or 20, whatever, 25, 21, you know? I don't know. I kind of went after this match. I'm like, it was exactly what you probably thought it'd be. I mean, obviously we saw more street fight Kurt Angle as opposed to the wrestling machine Kurt Angle, obviously for obvious reasons, you know? But I'm like, it was, like, as a TLC match, it was okay. Maybe the fact that it wasn't for a belt kind of threw everything off, you know?
That was true.
It wasn't the first time that's happened, though, but, you know?
I think with this one is that it had its great moments, right? But I think the problem was that why it maybe it wasn't like OMG great or maybe your favorite TLC match was because it kind of dragged in between points. Like they had a great moment and then drag, great moment, drag again. And I kind of felt like they paused a lot in between things.
But did you love this match?
I liked it. I didn't love it.
Why did you love it? You said I love this match. Why did you love it? I'm just curious.
I also think
this is why we're here.
I also think the fact that none of the other matches used tables, ladders, or chairs really helped.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Helped a proper build up to. Oh, and then they're gonna do all the Shield have chairs now. Oh man, everything's gonna have it's one of those matches that I call a scaffold match, not to be confused with an actual scaffold match, because the building is the scaffolding's already there. Where it's like you come out there, you do the hope spot, you do this spot, you use the chairs, you use the tables, you use the ladder, you do the jumping spots. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins bump machines in this match, diving machines, 2 separate dives in this match. Kurt Angle, him and Braun Strowman go into it. Kurt Angle gets drug off. I just like this match. I do have one complaint. Killing Braun Strowman is a tonal shift. Like literally dumping him into a garbage truck and crushing him to death. Kind of. I think it's a tonal shift. And George, your comparison was a Buried Alive match.
No, it was the concrete whatever match from Great American Match 04. I was more about the guy in the Miz shirt on the side of the garbage truck, like, he's on the team that your shirt you're wearing.
That is funny. Yeah. That's a subtle thing too, where it's just like, I love you, but like, come on, man. Yeah. That's murder.
It's also WWE. Not pro wrestling. It's WWE.
I think this match had a tonal shift in that moment that lost me briefly, and then Kurt Angle came out and I was back. Yeah. I was back. I
think when Kurt Angle left, I was like, oh, that's it. But then when he came back, I was so happy to see him come back and get some angle slams in there. That was pretty fun to see. But hold on, I want to go back to the whole Kane thing and coming back. Can I just say that I don't know what politics is doing to Kane, but he just looks so good, man. He just looks stronger, but he looks great. And I felt like he kind of had his old aura come back where oh, this is Kane. This is this spooky guy. This isn't just Kane, no, there was more to it. And then I wanted to also mention that I loved seeing Kurt Angle in the Shield gear. I feel like awesome. That was pretty awesome. And it was kind of interesting to see him, not in his red, white, and blue. I was like, this is a different Kurt. It's pretty fun.
And he also probably didn't have his gear. He didn't know about this match till Friday. He might not have gear he might not have WWE sanctioned gear with that logo on it. Yeah. They probably don't have time to make that. So yeah, just give him jeans and a Shield vest. Get him out there.
Yeah, and I like this whole Kane Braun thing, but that was the point where it was just Kane. When Kane chokeslammed Braun off the stage, that's when I was kind of like, oh, I forgot about all these other guys. That was kind of my point where it was kind of dragging and it became its own separate entity. But I mean, it's had its good moment. I'm not gonna complain about this match.
No, not so much. I don't feel like I don't want to complain because it was a good match. It was okay, this was kind of cool. You saw Kurt Angle back. You saw everything. You just that maybe it's just high expectations, but you have Cesaro, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, even Sheamus in a TLC match. And Sheamus and Cesaro were very, very forgettable in this match.
I think that was the problem. There were so many guys in there, and
feel
so
like
many of them that can do a lot.
I think it was hurt by the whole 3-on-5 for some reason. Like I don't know. I feel like it didn't need Kane. But I get why they brought him in for the spots, you know, for him and Strowman to cancel each other out. But it's like, it just...
Everybody was there, like you said, for a purpose. Yeah. And I think that watching this match, you had to kind of see it that way versus because I felt at that point, too, I was kind of like, oh, there's too many guys, you know, in the ring. Like, they can all do something special, but we're not seeing it. But then once you saw everything played out, everybody was there for a specific reason. And so I guess you just have to see it that way instead, you know?
Absolutely. It's just, but if I were to rank it among all the TLC matches, maybe like lower 15 to 20.
Yeah.
I mean, especially compared to last year, AJ versus Dean Ambrose.
True.
Oh, man.
First off, there have been 23 TLC matches.
Well, they said 20.
If you include 3 ECW matches, the Eliminators defeated Sabu and Rob Van Dam. Sabu defeated the Sandman in a tables, ladders, and... No, that's the next one. The Sandman defeated Steve Corino and Justin Credible in a 3-way tables, ladders, chairs, and canes match. 01, 97, 97, 23 matches. Sorry. I noticed that, had to bring it up.
From a different company.
Well, I'm ignoring the TNA ones, but I think this was. I enjoyed this match great. I don't know. I had a great time with this one.
It was fun. It was one of those where I think it was more of a fun match as opposed to like a great, fantastic, classic match. It was just a fun match. Fun doesn't always mean like, you know, great, but fun can still be fun.
Yeah.
You know? It was just a fun match.
Fun can still be fun.
Fun can still be
That's
fun.
That's going to be the motto for today's...
Put it on a shirt. Fun can still be fun.
Fun can still be fun. Is anybody else thinking of the SpongeBob song?
No.
No. Oh,
not
man.
until right this second.
Great. I feel like a loser.
So, looking forward for like about 5 minutes, what do we think? What do we think moving forward? Are we going to get Survivor Series wise? We're going to get Brock Lesnar tomorrow night talking about the Jinder Mahal challenge. I think that response should be 5 minutes of laughter. I think that should be Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman's response to Jinder Mahal. It should be the equivalent to Jinder who? Why do you think you're worthy? Blah, blah, blah. And then they eventually have the match. I think we should have a 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series match, brand versus brand. That seems almost confirmed at this point. Maybe a 5-on-5 cruiserweight match. Anything else we think happened?
I think we're going to see the same kind of similar to what we saw last year, where it was, you know, Raw tag team versus SmackDown tag teams, Raw singles, Raw women's.
Ooh, a Raw. That would actually be great.
Because they kind of teased it, like, very, very little on Raw Talk. It's called Raw Talk, right?
Yes.
With Alexa, like, kind of saying, like, well, I better be the captain because of my belt, you know? So it was pretty much all guarantee we're going to see very similar to what we saw last year.
Actually, I'm going to make a very bold prediction right this second.
I know we got a Starrcade. It's going to happen.
Actually, that too. November 25th. Also, I think... if there's going to be a Raw, SmackDown vs. Raw 5-on-5 traditional women, but it'll be a women's traditional Survivor Series match, Asuka will be the sole survivor. Asuka will be the sole survivor on the Raw side. I think that would be, I don't know, I just think that would be great. She pins 3 people, comes from behind, maintains this impeccable win streak. I think we've just about covered the show.
Yeah.
I think we nailed it all. George, if the people wanted to reach out to you in the world, how can they do that?
Okay.
If their arms aren't long enough.
Put your hand through your TV or computer screen, cell phones.
However they listen and/or watch to us.
Oh wow!
Watch to us.
Watch to us. Okay, I was waiting for the I don't know. I was waiting for the music for some reason. But yeah, so you can follow me at Ghermoza, GHERMOZA. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. What else am I on? Have you guys played WWE 2K18?
Not yet.
Oh.
You haven't invited us over yet.
Well, come on over after the show.
Done.
Anyways, you guys can you guys can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at _Denice Salcedo. But I tweet about wrestling and Taylor Swift, and you can follow me on YouTube. Search me, Denice Salcedo. I'm on the road to 4,000 subscribers.
We can't watch you on CWFH.
Yes, you can watch me. Okay, you can also watch me Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, X-Pac 12360, and a bunch of other stuff. Just follow me on social media. You'll figure it out there.
And as always, I'm Steve Kaufmann. You can find me almost exclusively on Twitter. That's at Steve Kaufmann, KAUFMANN. You can also go to thesoberyear.com. That's a vlog I'm doing in which I am on week 20 of sobriety. Currently, just made it over, now to week 20. Numbers, things.
How do you feel?
About the same. Just, don't feel sick in the morning. Thank you, and good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.